Alison, do you
Hi,
hear me?
oh, there you are, Daniela.
Yes, here I am.
So good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, I am going to explain you our question, and it's about that you recommend us to produce some flowers, especially for some celebrations, for example, I don't know, maybe for Halloween. If you recommend us to produce certain products only for those celebrations, because we have heard about the supply chain, maybe for event planners or for florists, but I would like to know maybe some advice for the first step of this supply chain. That would be the growers. What would be your recommendation for us?
Growers, don't take this the wrong way, okay? Anyone in Danziger and anyone on this screen who knows me personally will know that I'm a very direct person. I come from Scotland and we call it the way we see it. And also, I think, Daniela, I'm only on the planet for so many more years. So if somebody doesn't like my answer, it's not a problem for me, you know? So here's the thing. In terms of growers, you miss out so much on checking your potential client basis and to find out if they are interested or not. Social media is a perfect format for you to find out virtually free of charge whether what you're thinking of producing and producing in volume is of actual interest to potential clients. That's the first thing you have to find out, is to identify, is there a client interested in what we're thinking of producing? If you use social media cleverly, then you can track what countries are interested and what countries are not interested. I'll give you an example. I met I know a lot of growers, but I know particularly a lot of Dutch growers. And I remember speaking to this young man who said, oh, Alison, we grew this particular type of chrysanthemum and nobody bought it. It was a disaster. And I said, have you got a picture? So he showed me the photograph of this form of chrysanthemum. It was ovate. Can you imagine, like a boat shape? I had never seen a chrysanthemum that shape before. And it was graduated from beautiful white on the outside through pale green up into a very strong green. There was no genetic modification. It was perfect. He had to destroy the entire glass house because the distributors told him that it wasn't selling, it wouldn't sell to the florists. I said that was a lie, because I know what's on the product market. And if you had asked the florists if they liked this product first, then you've created your own marketplace, your own demand, and the florist can then go to their distributor and say, I want this flower. Do you know what I mean? So you're more potentially in control of the situation than before. So as a grower, you need a very strong social media presence or you need to connect into some of the florist groups on social media and say, look, we're thinking of growing these 3 varieties. Can you tell me which one you like? Or is there a reason why you don't like it? Perfect. That then tells you if there's a marketplace for that product or not. And it also tells you if there is a country that's more involved. Europe is a continent, okay? But the tastes in Germany are one thing. In France, a completely different thing. In the Nordic bloc, another completely different thing. In Scotland, a completely different thing from London, okay? So you need to find where your marketplace is. Another example is when I was on a growers tour organized by the lily growers of the Netherlands, by IBOB. They took us through various things. Now, I was getting sick of the sight of lilies because I'd been on this tour 4 times In fact, I think I knew more about the lilies than the growers did by the end of it. But on the last occasion, I said, is it okay if I bring some florists with me? And they said, oh yeah, because they were doing a demonstration. So we took the florist with us and we went into this particular glass house. And this guy, you know, he was polite, but he wasn't listening. He wasn't receiving. You have to listen to your potential client base because they're your consumers. So he said, oh yeah. I said, lovely lily, love it. He said, oh no, it's not perfect yet. We're going to breed it so we take out the freckles in this flower. I said, stop. So I brought the florist over, said, right guys, what do you think about this lily? And they said, oh, we love it. And I said, because he's going to try and breed out the lily section that you love best. And the reason you love it best is no supermarket's going to sell that. It's a florist that would sell that because it's different. And that gives them a marketing advantage. I said, you must listen to your potential customer. So that's my first line of advance. And then the next thing is, where are you based, my darling?
We're in Ecuador.
Ecuador?
Yes.
I've never been there, but my family lived there for many years.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. You had a problem. In fact, Bill will know more about this than me, I would think, but there was a major problem in distribution earlier this year. Was there not, coming out of
last year?
Ecuador, Colombia, and so on. Yeah. So it's in the hands of the gods as to whether distribution is going to be strong enough to cope. But what David said earlier is absolutely true. The cost of distributing things these days is absolutely going through the roof. So first of all, do your own marketing, check it, contact some magazine editors. You're talking to one. Contact to some magazine editors. You know, if I want to help, you know, if I'm known as Mama Bear in the industry over here, and there's a really good reason for that. Number one, I hug a lot. Any of the, yeah, we have 2 baby bears right here, 3 baby bears, 4 baby bears. My God, they're popping up all over the place. So I hug a lot. That's where it came from. But the other side of Mama Bear is she's prepared to go in and growl. So I will fight for growers and I will fight for florists like nobody else I know. I'm prepared to put my neck on the line for it. So I am prepared to put out flowers and ask, is this something you're interested in or is it not?
Yes, for sure. Would be ideal to know the opinion of everybody. Also, I invite you to visit us, to check us, to give us your real opinion. Would be perfect for us. And I really appreciate your advices, are really helpful. So thanks a lot, Alison.
Post it on, I tell you, go onto the Dancing Girl Live page, because the whole concept of this page is to be able to encourage you to interact. So post it on the Dancing Girl Live page, and we're building a community there, and it'll be a free flow of information. That's the whole ethics. I mean, Dancing Girl are getting nothing out of doing this, if you like, especially this one, because, you know, David's not talking about a particular product. He's talking about trying to help people, you know. And the next one, the next Dancing Girl Live will be the same thing, because the next one is with a guy I told David he had to connect with, and it's a gentleman called Gregor Lersch. And I know Amy's just dropped off the chair. And Gregor and I are longer standing friends even than David and Bill. Bill and I have been friends for years as well. And he's coming with a very special mission. Gregor has survived and thrived through all sorts of things. He started as a plantsman, and he's now, I think, a legend in his own lifetime. Any florist in here would probably agree with that. Against massive opposition in his own country, he gives out information and support to florists. And I've asked him to talk on the subject of evolution after COVID. because he has had to evolve himself and has had to develop new ways of doing it. And this is going to be, he doesn't do these things, you know, he doesn't do this kind of thing. He is now only now after a lot of arm twisting teaching online, but this kind of thing he's never done before. So he's doing this for me because we are friends, yeah? But I feel we can connect with florists worldwide and hopefully give them and the industry hope for the future. But use every aspect that's available to you, Daniela. Get out there, think out of the box. Really listen back to what David was saying there. You know, he started in opera and he blagged his way in to what he got. And he did this and he did that. But once you know the individual, once you meet them, you know, it's like the first time I met Uncle Bill here. Bill approached me from behind, actually, which is a bit naughty. But anyway, he approached me from behind in a queue at AIFD going into an event and asked me where I got my dress, which I thought was a strange question, frankly, Uncle Bill, but nonetheless, which was Italian designer. What can I say? Anyway, we did that. And Bill had some photographs of an event he'd designed and exhibited at the Philadelphia Flower Show.
She told me they were shite.
I did, actually. I did. I said, what the shit? And he's like, you know, I don't think Americans are used to people chatting to them like that. They needed it. And I said, if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to get into magazines, if you want your profile to go through the roof, get a good quality photographer in, you know, tell the storyline. And you've done that ever since, haven't you, Bill? Ever since. Yeah. And how many best in shows, Sweetie Pie? 1 or 2. Yeah, there you go. So it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I say something to Daniela?
Please do.
Daniela, one of the things that is completely lacking is the concept of, and Alison's completely right with the concept of you need to connect to the retail florist as a grower. But what you really need to connect to even more, I believe, is to the wholesalers that you're selling to. Because, you know, a good event florist, and I see a number of them on this page. I see, you know, Ati and Rika and Teresa and people I'm friends with who will order flowers months and months in advance. But the wholesaler won't ask them from you until a week before. But if you had a liaison connecting directly to an event part of your industry, of our industry, and you could call the wholesaler and say, hey, do you have any flowers that you need from us in 3 months? Do you have any, and you know the growth cycle, and you got a carnation at 16 weeks, you got a hydrangea at 13 to 14 weeks. I mean, whatever this growth cycle is, start contacting in advance so that you can lock these orders in. And that order will just lead to more because it'll lead to commitments from the florist asking for your farm and your product because they know that they can depend on you months in advance when they have a wedding. And in peony season, when everybody else is running out of them at the end of the season because they ordered them 4 months in advance because they already had the order locked in, you are making their life a blessing. And that's kind of what Dave was saying. With our, I mean, God, you know, I work with farms in Colombia and Medellin and Rio Negro and Bogota. So I know the supply chain. So, but if you have this knowing this in advance, and you are directly working with the wholesalers and asking them, what flowers do you have in order? You could train them to ask their client, to their florist, hey, don't give me the order the week before. As soon as you get the order, give it to me. That's all. It's just, to me, it's just a simple thing. It's so simple. I don't understand why it hasn't been done since the beginning of time.
Because anyway. People like barriers, darling. That's the whole point of doing something like this, Bill. You know how passionate I am about breaking down walls in between people. It's all about communication. Yeah.
And it's like David, trust. It's just like David said. David said, nobody wants to talk to each other. You know, wholesalers don't want to talk to each other. Florists don't want to talk to each other. You know, I mean, that's why something like this is fantastic because you really have the opportunity to cross lines.
I agree with you, Bill. I think what we have to do is make sure that we are totally transparent with our clientele and make sure that they know that they have to get their orders in early. You can't be doing this, changing things last minute. So the onus is on our clients to make sure that they lock in and commit to what they need. And there we can go to the grower and make sure that we can commit to them what we need.
It's easier to cancel a few stems than it is to add a few hundred.
Absolutely.
That's true.
1,000, yeah.
But it's also about reliability, you know. Quite a lot of the time, if you speak to wedding florists, they'll say that they order a certain color because the bride is fixated with that color. And then the order arrives and it's the wrong color. True, Amy? Yeah? Yeah. She's just nodding her camera now. It's all good. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. Should I have a cup of tea?
You deserve one, Alison.
Yeah.
So after 5, Alison, you cannot have it.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Probably just
It's after 5, you cannot have it.
No,
champagne only.
You're just driving. That's what's wrong, Mr. Artikins. Yeah, this is fine. So, one last question. Was this interesting?
Very.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No, it was very, very informative. Thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome. As dancing girl, you have to, because
This Zoom campaign is awesome. This whole opening up to everybody is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think actually with when Betty and I first met 2 years ago, I think.
No, more than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue. Time stand still. And anyway,
I think 3 years ago, something like that.
something like that. And we've been in communication by email. I'm quite formal on emails because it's business, you know. And then I arrived at IFTF and suddenly this whirlwind hit her, known as me. And we connected immediately. And so when Betty asked me about ideas at the beginning of this year, and I said, look, you want to try and break down some barriers. How about we do this? And it allows you to connect directly to your clientele, but it also allows you to connect directly to the florists. So why don't we try and do this and give them their due? They embrace this. There have been moments where I've also thought maybe alcohol could be helpful.
A solution?
Compulsory.
Serious panic attacks, but it's being done for the benefit of other people. And that's the kind of organization I like to work with, is that they are trying to help. So every time you get an opportunity like this, we're going to do it, I think, roughly once a month, aren't we, Betty? I think there's 1 month we're going to do 2 in 1 month. And we're going to take you around some amazing people, but each thing will be different and each subject will be completely different. And take it from me, if you get the chance to sit on a wall like this, speaking directly to Gregor Lersch, is worth its weight in gold, because he's a very, very knowledgeable and honest human being. Okay, and he sets the trends globally. So it's been nice meeting you, although all I can say is, Edward, you really need to smile, my darling. Edward, Edward, I can see you, baby. Oh, there's a little mouth. Oh, I like eyebrow movement. Oh, there's always a smile. Coochie bear, there he goes. Okay, got him.
Alison, thank you very, very much once again. It was very, very interesting. And I do invite everyone to join us to Danziger Live on Facebook. And we promise to keep on answering any questions that you have. And please share with us any interesting and creative work of yours. This is your platform, use it.